Hello, my wedding planning friends. Let's continue with the prep work by asking ourselves, how involved in the wedding planning do you want to be? Who's handling what? And what might derail our wedding planning? Today, we're talking about setting yourselves up for a smooth and enjoyable planning experience by tackling those big picture questions right from the start. Hi, I'm Tiffany Lanier, your wedding planning guide. Welcome back to Big Day DIY podcast, where we break down wedding planning into manageable steps. Today, we're diving deep into the topic that is often overlooked, figuring out your potential roles in the wedding planning project and anticipating potential bumps in the road before you start booking vendors and making decisions. So let's get started. How involved do you want to be? In our last episode, we went through the big four wedding topics, which were your vision, the location you'd like to have your wedding, the tentative guest list, and your budget. If you haven't done that already, please go back, listen to that episode, and do that work, because we're going to take it one step farther today and take a moment to discuss the preferred level of involvement and potential issues. So let's start with involvement. Do you envision a 50-50 partnership, sharing all the decisions equally about your wedding planning? Or do you prefer to take the lead while the other chimes in on specific aspects of the wedding? There's no right or wrong answer here, but honesty and open communication are key. I do have a downloadable questionnaire in the wedding planning resource folder when you sign up for the monthly newsletter at bigdaydiy.com. You will get a link to the Google Drive with all of our worksheets in the success page when you sign up for the monthly newsletter. So take that and use it to openly discuss all the aspects of planning and what you want to do and what aspects you don't want to do. Because acknowledging each other's preferences from the get-go is all about setting realistic expectations. If one of you dreams of being hands-on and the other one just doesn't and wants to be laid back about it, that is perfectly fine. But finding a compromise early on will help you to avoid resentment and frustration later on. So consider these questions. Do you want to make all the decisions together? Are you happy with one person taking the reins, or do you want help? How important is it that your fiancé is actively involved in the wedding planning process? Wedding planning is honestly a project. It is a year-long or possibly less or more of a project. You guys, this is the first project you're going to do together in your entire lives. Buying a house is going to be another project. Having a baby is going to be a project. So this is just your very first project that you will have to manage together. And this will kind of set the tone for future projects as well. So sitting down together, making the list of roles or areas that are most important to each of you is very, very important. This is like who will take the lead on creating the song list, or who wants to manage and update the guest list, who wants to research the photographers and venues. Discuss your expectations so you can see where there might be holes that you need to fill in during the planning. If you both decide you're going to need some extra help, I do have an episode coming soon about hiring a wedding planner or other professional help you might need. Now let's move on to potential issues. Once you've figured out your individual roles or focus areas, let's talk about the potential issues that could pop up during your planning process. Thinking ahead and putting safeguards in place can save you a lot of headaches later. So let's go through some of the scenarios that might throw a wrench in your pre-wedded bliss. Finances. If you're accepting financial help from family, are you comfortable with any strings that might be attached? Are they expecting a say in the decision making? Having that conversation early is extremely important to avoid misunderstandings. In our next episode, I am focusing on exactly that topic, about talking to the parents, putting down boundaries, and figuring out who's going to pay what and what they expect for that money. Also, think about your upcoming financial commitments, like moving expenses, buying a new home, changing jobs, other major life events. Planning a wedding alongside of these can be super stressful, so make sure you're not piling on too much at one time or forgetting about future financial commitments that will drain your resources. Time constraints. What is on your schedule? Are there major work projects or travel plans or, again, life changes that could impact your time, focus, emotional, or mental availability for planning your wedding? How much time do you have for planning? Depending on your vision and whether you're going to hire professional help or not, it could take 20 to 100 hours or more of your time to plan this wedding. You might have a hard time planning the wedding if you have a super demanding job or other commitments that might take your focus. So really think about that when you're planning your wedding and your date and your place and all of the aspects of it. Next up, think about your family and friends. Are there potential conflicts or sensitivities that could arise? For example, blended families, divorced parents or step-parents or step-sibling, differing opinions, or even dramatic personalities? Discuss who might be a handful and come up with strategies for handling those challenges together. Consider how much involvement you want from family members on both sides and set boundaries if needed. When it comes to friends, it's rare, but it happens. Is your ex dating someone in your friend group? Are they going to try to bring your ex to the wedding as a plus one? Sometimes that happens. Do you have friends that your partner doesn't like and maybe you want to have in your wedding party? Or is there drama in your friend group that will probably affect your wedding? If you said yes to any one of these questions, then y'all need to talk about what the issue is and openly discuss it, find compromises, find solutions so these don't create issues later on down the road. And kids from prior relationships. If you have children from previous relationships, how do you want to include them in the wedding planning and in the wedding ceremony? Do you foresee any issues with the parent of said child? The other parent, the ex? If you do think that there's going to be issues moving forward in your wedding planning with parentals of children from prior relationships, then please discuss how you're going to handle them now. Even if it doesn't happen, even if the sky opens up and everybody's super happy for you and you have no pushback from anybody about your wedding, at least when you talk about it, you address the elephant in the room. You kind of figure out how to handle these and have a united front together moving forward before all of the chaos of wedding planning starts and these things start getting thrown at you. You want to be on the same page, so sit down and have these discussions early on so that it sets you up for success. Again, download the free worksheets at Big Day DIY. When you sign up for the monthly newsletter, you'll get the link to the Google Drive packed with useful worksheets to help you and your partner navigate these essential discussions with ease and understanding. If you love today's episode, please download it so you can easily find it later. And if you know somebody else who's planning a wedding, please share this episode with them. It truly helps. Make sure to subscribe to our show and don't forget to join the Big Day DIY planning community on Facebook for more tips, support, and inspiration. And the link is in bigdaydiy.com. Plus, you can find more links of other information as well as to be a beta tester for the Big Day DIY book that I'm still working on right now. So apply to get some free wedding planning advice from me as we go through the book together. Until next time, happy planning.